Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So Tszyu was successful in his first WBO title defense versus Brian Mendoza in his hometown in Australia. It was a really good performance. It wasn't anything super crazy, but he went up against a good opponent, somebody who has been battle tested, done won, done lost, done beat credible names, Jason Rosario, Sebastian Fundora, who was looked at as a monster in the 154-pound division. Brian Mendoza got a knockout victory over him. So coming off of his biggest win, this wasn't supposed to be an easy fight for Tszyu. And to be honest, though Mendoza was very crafty and, he gave some different looks and threw some big shots, landed a couple of left hooks, a couple of right hands, but nothing really crazy on Tszyu. Tszyu still was able to go out there and execute his game plan. He was patient. He was sharp. When he did throw big shots, he landed them. He was able to push Mendoza back on the ropes consistently, really controlling the pace of the fight, controlling the real estate in the ring, showed great ring generalship. And the shots that he did get hit with by Brian Mendoza, which he's known to have power. We've seen he's knocked guys out before, stopped guys to the head and to the body. Tszyu took those punches very well. At no point in the fight did I ever see Tszyu look like he was about to be hurt or he was bothered by anything that Mendoza threw at him. So it was a good victory for Tszyu. Like I said, he was sharp, patient, precise, powerful. He showed everything that you would have wanted to see outside of getting the stoppage. And after the fight, he called out Charlo. I think at this point, Charlo gonna have to see Tszyu. I know Jermell has his IBF mandatory that he has to, defend his title against. Of course, all three of his titles will be on the line, along with the ring championship title. So he'll have to do that if he doesn't want to get stripped again, if he wants to remain a champion or a unified champion, because it's the IBF. Of course, the WBO has elevated Tszyu, and now the IBF is putting their foot down and saying, hey, you're going to have to fight this guy we got next in line. This guy, I believe, is the same guy that's been waiting to get a fight with Charlo even before the original undisputed match with Brian Castano. So he has to go ahead and take care of that obligation, and then at some point, you're going to have the WBC and you're going to have the WBA knocking at your door as well. So Charlo got to go ahead and settle that. And then we'll see what Tszyu does next, because you have Terrence Crawford, who is about to fight Errol Spence in a rematch. The WBO has already come out and said that Terrence Crawford will be next in line if he wants that opportunity to go after Tszyu. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this unfolds, to see if Tszyu is going to face a Terrence Crawford next, or if he'll unify with Charlo after Charlo satisfies his IBF obligation. So I think the good thing for Tszyu is that he got a lot of options on the table right now. He was successful in his first title defense. He looked good. He did say that he wants to fight in America from now on, at least for the foreseeable future. He wants to fight in Vegas. And I think that's a good thing. You see that he bringing people out in Australia. Hey, man, look, that DJ they had at his fight, man, in Australia, the DJ was fire. You feel what I'm saying? Hey, they got a nice vibe going on out there in Australia, man. They got a nice vibe. The DJ was fire. The atmosphere was lit. So I could definitely see Tszyu coming out here, winning some big fights, and then taking a big fight back to Australia at some point. And I think that should be lit as hell. But To be honest with you, versus Jermell Charlo, I don't see Tszyu beating Jermell Charlo. I mean, he's at least shown that he's going to be a competitive fighter in the ring with Jermell Charlo. Against Terrence Crawford, I don't see him beating Terrence Crawford either. But I think he'll at the very least be competitive. As some, I think he ain't. I don't see Tszyu going in the ring with either of those guys and just folding. He got too much pride and too much machismo for that. You dig what I'm saying? But I could definitely see Terrence Crawford stopping him. I can see Jermell Charlo stopping him. Just to be honest with you, he remind me of Triple G, but not as powerful, not as sharp, jab not as good. Size-wise, I don't think he's as big as Triple G, but he's like a lesser version of Triple G, which is not a bad thing because Triple G in his prime was a very good fighter. Some might say a great fighter. So I'm very interested to see what Tszyu does going forward, how he fares against the likes of Jermell Charlo, Terrence Crawford, maybe an Errol Spence. We see Erickson Lubin coming off of a big victory versus Jesus Ramos. Jesus Ramos, if they don't do the rematch, I would like to see Tszyu get in there with either Ramos or Erickson Lubin because that was a controversial decision. A lot of people felt like Ramos won that fight. I would love to see Tszyu versus Ramos. That'll be a great fight. So we'll see, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. What did you think about Tszyu's performance? Were you impressed? Was the outcome what you thought it was going to be? And how do you see Tszyu fare against Terrence Crawford, Jermell Charlo, and all of the other top guys at 154, man? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender Regime Boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.